Hi, this is Steve with Thresher Media Group. Welcome to When You're Ready to Listen. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the truth about God, things you may not have understood, may not have been taught, or quite frankly, had a very hard time believing. And since our entire relationship with God rests on believing, it is important we learn how to separate the truth from the many lies and fictions that abound within the religion of Christianity. So when you're ready to listen, tune in and discover a pathway to freedom, encouragement, life, and hope. This is episode 2 of Jesus Has a Name, and I entitled this, Jesus is the I Am. We ended the last episode with the question, how is the Hayah, the I Am, and Yahweh connected to Jesus? We learned that God is I Am, and his memorial name to all generations, Yahweh, is errantly translated as the Lord. But where does Jesus come into all of this? In Exodus, we are told that the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in the burning bush, and Moses saw him and then hid his face, for he became afraid to look at God. So Moses saw God in the form of the angel of the Lord, as did Abraham, Jacob, Hagar, Balaam, Joshua, the sons of Israel who entered the promised land, Gideon, Manoah and his wife, the parents of Samson, David, Elijah, Gad, Ornan the Jebusite, and Zechariah. All of these people fell and worshiped when they saw the angel of the Lord. And please understand, worship is something an ordinary angel would never permit. Worship is for God and God alone. Moreover, the story of Gideon makes it clear that Yahweh is the angel of the Lord. For the writer of Judges states that the angel of the Lord came and sat under a tree. And then we are told that Yahweh instructed Gideon. Again, the angel of Yahweh is an appearance of God in a form which people could see and yet not die. Moreover, Jesus stated that with the exception of himself, not a single man has ever seen God the Father. Only the one who is from God has seen him. But many men and many women have seen and beheld the angel of Yahweh, who is Yahweh. And many men and many women have seen and beheld the Son of God. Thus, we have to logically conclude that the appearances of the angel of Yahweh were the Son of God, Jesus, who took on a pre-incarnate form as the angel of Yahweh, always translated as angel of the Lord. Perhaps this explains why after Jesus came to the earth as a man, we never again in the scriptures have an overt appearance of the angel of Yahweh. Now, there are some possible appearances that occur in the book of Revelation, but there are no overt references. Jesus, being the angel of Yahweh, being God, also explains why Jesus claimed the very same identity of the Hayah when he was speaking to the religious leaders of his day. In John chapter 8, 56 through 59, he says, "Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." So the Jews said to him, "You are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham?" Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was born, I am." Therefore they picked up stones to throw at him, but Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple. Clearly, there was no misunderstanding as to what Jesus claimed, hence their attempt to kill this man who had the gall to claim that he was God. You want to know something totally cool? Jesus was the earthly name given to the Son of God, which is a Greek transliteration of the Hebrew name Yehoshua, or as we say it, Joshua. Yehoshua is a combination of two Hebrew words. You guessed it, Yahweh and Yasha. Yahweh, being rooted in the I Am declaration of who God is, communicates that all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be finds its origin and completion in Jesus, which is why Jesus claims to be the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. The second word, Yasha, means to be open or free, or by implication, to be safe or saved. Thus, Yehoshua, or Jesus, literally means Yahweh frees, or Yahweh saves. And this specific name speaks to what he does in our lives. He frees us and saves us from ourselves, from our old sinful nature, and from everything in our life that stands in opposition to his being the Adonai, the Lord of our lives. This also explains why the spirits, specifically the demons, have such a huge reaction to the name Jesus. When confronted with the name Jesus, they recoil and even flee, because they are being confronted with the truth that Yahweh frees. Therefore, their control over any person or situation is about to be dismantled as their true master, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh of heaven's armies, operating as Yahweh Yasha, is about to bring forth freedom into the life of another person he loves. And they can do nothing about it. They are powerless when confronted by their master. Sadly, in our Bibles, we have Yahweh, the existing one, repeatedly translated as the Lord, which is not a name so much as it is a role or a title. This is tragic, and it creates a gap of intimacy between us and the one who wants to be known by his name. Thus, when you read the Lord, and it is in all capitals, know that it should always be rendered as Yahweh. Likewise, the phrase, the name of the Lord, again in all caps, should simply say the name Yahweh. By the way, the preposition of is not in the Hebrew or the Greek, so it is okay to say in the name Yahweh. In more ways than I can describe, this translation fiasco makes absolutely no sense. Chalk it up to the dark religious nature of man, but it has taken away from and diluted our understanding of this beautiful and powerful name. It has stolen a bit of the intimacy God desires to have with those he has called into his household. God the Father and his Son Jesus chose to reveal their personal name to man. They chose not to keep it secret. But for some reason, the Jews got all religious and decided that the name was too holy to speak, even though as far back as Eve, they spoke his name. And you can't go back much further than Eve. Tragically, they stopped saying the very name that was given to them forever as his memorial name to all generations. Yes, to all generations. And of course, they would not even write it down. They would just say, the name. Ooh, it sounds so ominous and holy. But again, how does that make any sense? This is one of the reasons why Jesus said, and if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. The religion of Christianity, along with the religion of Judaism, have buried the name Yahweh under some mistaken and ill-gotten notion of holiness. Thus, by the time the Bible was translated, they were referring to him as Adonai, which is the Hebrew word ordinarily translated as the Lord, in the sense of one's king, master, governor, or Lord in that generic notion of rule and authority. Adonai, the Lord, is a title one would use even for their boss or someone they honored. Yes, my Lord. But it is a far cry from the meaning and context of Yahweh, which is rooted in the Hayah, the I am. Are you beginning to grasp how much meaning and context has been stolen from our relationship with God? In fact, even today, when a Jewish person is confronted with the letters YHWH, they will tell you it is to be translated as Adonai. This is tragic, and I'm sure it hurts God's feelings. After all, they refuse to say his name. In most of our translations, when Adonai and Yahweh are used together, it is translated as sovereign, Adonai, Lord, Yahweh. However, if we were to be literalists, while ardently holding to the religious traditions, we would have to say, Lord, Lord, as sovereign is the substance of the word Lord, the one who is ruler, the despot, the one in absolute control, the Adonai. But the Spirit was not speaking in doubles. Rather, he was assigning a role to the name Yahweh. Therefore, Adonai Yahweh should be translated as Sovereign Yahweh, or Lord Yahweh, or Yahweh is sovereign. Yahweh is Lord. Now, the Greek writers of the Septuagint, the Bible that was commonly used in Jesus' day, ran with the Hebrews' religious deference and translated every instance of Yahweh with the Greek word Kyrios, which also means Lord. Kyrios, however, is a great translation of the word Adonai, but a terrible translation of the name Yahweh, as Kyrios was used to refer to Caesar and other magistrates and speaks again of a role and a title, but it is not a name. Seems, however, that we are stuck with this debacle in all our modern translations, as they did not choose to correct this obvious error when translating the text. As a result, most people read the Bible without ever truly knowing or understanding the depth and the meaning of the name Yahweh, much less the true meaning of the word Lord, Adonai. As a result, Lord has come to be understood as a substitute, even a generic for the word God, and it is used interchangeably. By the way, I should tell you that Jehovah is the Latinized translation of Yahweh, picked up in the 12th century when the text was converted to Latin. You'll often see it as a substitute for Yahweh in the King James, American Standard, and other English Protestant translation. But again, that's like calling William Bill, Robert Bob, Jack John, or Steve Ronald. It's just not the same. We should be calling Jesus by his eternal name, the name which he chose to reveal to all of us as his memorial name to all generations. His name is Yahweh. Jesus was often politely referred to as Kyrios, Lord, as were many other leaders of the day. Perhaps this is the reason why Jesus made sure that even though the religious language did not clarify the distinction between Yahweh and Adonai, again, translated Kyrios, he would make the clear distinction and cause great havoc by identifying himself as the I Am, the Hayah. Moreover, the Spirit constantly referred to the name of the Lord all throughout the New Testament. For those of you who have a literal mind, again, he was not saying to the Lord of the Lord. Again, we're dealing with a translation debacle. Practically, all the references to the Lord are a throwback to the name Yahweh. For instance, Romans 11:33-36. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments and unfathomable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who became his counselor, or who was first given to him that it might be paid back to him again? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. Now, even though this passage utilizes the Greek rendering Kyrios, the quoted Old Testament passage utilizes Yahweh. As Jesus was sure to make a distinction about his identity, the Spirit does not want us to miss the true meaning of the name. As the Alpha, nothing starts that he does not initiate. As the Omega, nothing is completed that he does not complete. Every aspect of life, without exception, is from him, by him, or through him, and to him. That is the meaning of the name Yahweh, the meaning we must ascribe to the word translated as Lord. It is my opinion the generic use of the word Lord and its merging with the idea of God, caused by generations of religious translators, has resulted in damage far beyond our having lost an understanding of his personal name. In fact, there are many people who confess Jesus as Lord, but have no clue as to what Lord even means. It is more that they are confessing Jesus as God. As I said before, for many, Lord and God have become interchangeable words, but they have completely different meaning. God speaks of his transcendency, his eternal nature that exists outside of time. But Lord speaks of him being the sole progenitor, the sole source or originator of all things, whether good or evil. Again, all things are from him and through him and to him. Yes, all things in heaven and on earth, in both the seen and unseen realms, nothing is accepted. Therefore, the title, the Lord, declares that all things begin and end with him, and that he is in control of all things, all the time, even all those things that do not make sense to our conscience. As such, he is Adonai. I know I have driven this point into the ground, but the effect of this blending of these concepts, God and Lord, separate and distinct from his name, results in people confessing Jesus as Lord, and it being somewhat of an empty confession, as very few people look to God for all things, and even fewer would hold God responsible for all things, both good and evil. Just think about it. Yahweh, the I Am, being Adonai, the Lord, is an extreme concept that is very difficult for not just our minds, but our emotions to accept. And since believing in his name and calling on his name is critical to salvation, this is a huge problem within the religion of Christianity, as most of its followers do not even know his personal name, but only his title, God, which gets confused with his role as the Lord. With that said, Yahweh is used literally thousands of times in the Old Testament. Many references speak of the Father, like the infamous passage where David says, Yahweh says to my Adonai, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. And many other references speak directly about Jesus, as in the whole creation story. Again, Yahweh is the name which the Father and the Son share. This is the name we should be using. Even Jesus' earthly name declares this beautiful truth, as Jesus is Yahweh Yasha. Likewise, in the New Testament, there's hundreds of references to the name of the Lord, which should properly be rendered Yahweh, some of which uniquely address the Father, some uniquely to the Son, and still in others to both at once. In the transcript of this episode, which you can download on the website threshermediagroup.com, I have footnoted these references so you can dig in, do the work, and come to be intimately acquainted with the glorious name of the Father, which he has given to the Son. The substitution of the Lord for Yahweh has not just diluted our understanding of the name, but I believe it has distorted it. No wonder so few people know what it means to believe that Jesus is Yahweh. The name Yahweh unequivocally declares that the Father put all things in subjection under Jesus' feet and gave him as head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills all in all, such that he is far above all rule and authority and power and dominion and every name that is named, not only in this age, but also in the one to come. For nothing starts that he does not begin, and nothing ends that is not completed in him. For he alone is the I Am, who is sufficient for our every need. This is how we are to think of Jesus, our I Am, our sufficiency for every need. This is what we are to read in the phrase, the name of the Lord. Yahweh is the one who fills all, in all, and satisfies all. There is literally nothing exempted from this truth. In addition, with God, everything is personal. After all, we are talking about his name. He wants us to know him by his name and all that his name communicates to us and for us. And when we actively believe in Yahweh, when we bet our lives on his name, we will start to know the power we have been given to destroy the fear that has kept us bound forever, play acting as if we are the Lord, the Adonai of our own lives. As we fold this truth into the three things we must believe, Yahweh is Adonai, that Yahweh is good, and that we are aliens and strangers on this earth, suddenly all things in our lives start to make sense. Number one, if Yahweh is Adonai, if Yahweh is the Lord, then all things in our life, both good and the downright evil, has come from him. Nothing is accepted. Every detail of our lives has been carefully put into place by the one who is in control of all things, all the time. That means the good things you have done and the evil things you have done. That means the good things others have done and the evil others have done. It has all been according to his good plan. Number 2, with that said, since Yahweh is good, then we can be confident that all of it, even the evil, whether our own or that of others, has been a necessary part of his good plan for our lives. For all that he does is good because he is good. To us, it may not feel good, it may not seem good, it may not be good by any other person's definition of good, but it is good. For goodness describes his character and his nature, as well as all that extends from his life towards ours. For Yahweh is good. And number 3, if we are aliens and strangers, a good God must take that reality and do what he must to make it our cognitive, emotional, and practical reality. Thus, all that he brings into our lives, both good and evil, is intended to separate us from all our attachments to this world, to our flesh, our old sinful nature, to the enemy, the devil and his demons, and to all that stands in opposition to our personally knowing and living as if Yahweh is our Adonai, who is good. Again, when we understand these 3 things, the events of our life start to make sense and come into focus. As we continue in this discovery of the name, we will also find that each of Yahweh's names reveal to us an aspect of his character, his nature, his relationship with us, and with mankind at large. For instance, the name Yahweh Yasha explains that he desires us to experience in him freedom from fear, freedom from the pain which has controlled us, and freedom from all the ways we have learned to protect ourselves from further pain, like attempting to control the outcomes of our lives, or through all manner of dysfunctional coping mechanisms we have adopted. Best yet, his name promises freedom from the bane of our old sinful nature, our sick and nasty flesh. Yahweh is life. He is the I am. He is our I am. Yes, Yahweh is our Adonai. And that is what his name declares. He is everything we need all the time. So let us stop here, and we'll pick up in the next episode with the implications of the name Yahweh. By the way, I cannot stop saying this name now that I know it. When I'm reading the Bible, I am starting to naturally substitute Yahweh for Lord every time I see it. I hope you fall in love with this powerful, amazing name and let its meaning begin to define life for you in the here and now, and begin to rewrite all the scripts you might have in your mind and soul about who our God is. Oh, one last thing. I mentioned this before, but I just want to state it again. In the English translations, if the Lord is all capitalized, you can be sure that the underlying Hebrew is rendered as Yahweh. If the Lord has only the first initial capitalized, then you can be sure that the underlying Hebrew is rendered as Adonai. This is just a tip to help you as you start to fall in love with his name and begin to see his beautiful name everywhere you read in that beautiful Bible of yours. To get a free download of the full written transcript with all the scripture references footnoted, please go to threshermediagroup.com. That is THRESHER mediagroup.com. This is Steve with Thresher Media Group. When you're ready to listen, tune in.